Welcome to Warfare Report, where global conflict meets cold analysis. Today, we turn our focus to the Caribbean, where stealth meets strategy. In the skies above Puerto Rico, the roar of the F-35B Lightning II echoes a new message from Washington. Officially, it's a counter-narcotics operation. In reality, it's a power play, a signal aimed squarely at Caracas, Moscow, and Beijing. This is the story behind the deployment and what it really means for the balance of power in the Americas. It begins with the roar of engines over turquoise waters. September the 13th, 2025, 6 F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters slice through Caribbean skies, their matte gray skins barely visible against the afternoon haze. Below them, Puerto Rico's eastern coast. Ahead, the abandoned but newly reborn Roosevelt Roads Naval Station in Ceiba. The operation has a name: Southern Vigil. Officially, it's a counter-narcotics deployment under U.S. Southern Command, SOUTHCOM. Unofficially, it's something else: a calibrated show of power, a silent warning aimed south, toward Caracas. The base, dormant since the early 2000s, now hums again with the rhythm of jet turbines, Marines, and intelligence teams. For the first time in decades, America's most advanced stealth aircraft are stationed just 80 nautical miles from Venezuelan airspace. On paper, Southern Vigil targets the drug trade. For years, traffickers tied to Venezuela's Cartel de los Soles, the Cartel of the Suns, have used the Mona Passage, the narrow strait between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, as a cocaine superhighway to North America. The numbers are staggering: up to 250 tons of cocaine per year, routed through waters under constant radar watch. But intelligence reports tell another story. Behind the narco operations lies a military-criminal alliance shielded by Nicolas Maduro's regime, aided by generals with stars on their shoulders and dollar signs in their eyes. For Washington, this isn't only a law enforcement matter. It's national security and projection of power in the Western Hemisphere. The cascade began on September 5th. President Donald Trump, returning to the political stage, invoked Title 10 U.S. Code Section 124, an obscure clause allowing military operations against drug networks without direct congressional approval. The order was surgical: deploy 10 F-35Bs from Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 225, the Vikings, and double the operational tempo of the Joint Interagency Task Force, South, the nerve center of U.S. Caribbean interdiction. Overnight, the Caribbean became a chessboard again, with stealth jets as the new knights. In Caracas, Maduro's circle didn't need an official statement to read the message. Within days, Venezuela's armed forces, the FANB, mobilized 300,000 reservists under Plan Bolívar 2025. New Book M3 missile launchers appeared on the Paraguana Peninsula directly facing the Caribbean. Satellite imagery showed Russian Su-30 Mk2 rotating out of El Libertador Air Base, their contrails tracing defensive arcs near the coast. What began as an anti-drug mission was quickly morphing into a geopolitical face-off. The deployment itself was a logistical ballet. September 8th, KC-46 Pegasus tankers lifted off from McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey, staging mid-air refueling corridors over the Atlantic. At 0600 Zulu, the first 6 F-35Bs departed Marine Corps Air Station Yuma, climbing to 30,000 feet. 3 refuels later, they crossed the Caribbean's eastern rim, escorted by MQ-9 Reaper drones monitoring Venezuelan radar activity. By 1800 Zulu, the formation touched down at Ceiba, watched by Reuters correspondents, their cameras catching the silhouettes of America's stealth fighters against a golden sunset. In the following week, 4 more jets arrived. By September 19th, the full 10 airframe package was complete, accompanied by C-17 Globemasters unloading 500 tons of ordnance, from Blue 111 bombs to GBU-53 small-diameter bombs. Roosevelt Roads was no longer dormant. It was a fortress again. The deployed squadron VMFA 225 carries a legacy as deep as marine aviation itself. Their lineage reaches back to 1942, When the original unit dive-bombed Japanese carriers during the Battle of Midway, their call sign? Vikings. Their motto? Semper Vikings. Always Vikings. Reactivated in 2016 as one of the first Marine F-35 squadrons, they now operate 16 airframes, all Block 3F software jets, boasting a 92% mission-capable rate. They were re-establishing a forward operating base, part of the Marine Corps' Expeditionary Advanced Base Operations Doctrine, a strategy designed for dispersed, flexible warfare across the Pacific, and now the Caribbean. Once the crown jewel of U.S. Navy power in the region, Roosevelt Roads Naval Station closed in 2004. Now, after 2 decades of silence, it's alive again. Under SOUTHCOM's reconstruction plan, its runways were reinforced with pierced steel planking, enabling short takeoff and vertical landing for F-35Bs. Fuel farms were replenished. 300,000 gallons of JP-8 jet fuel now cycled weekly through the base. Logistics ships like the USNS Yukon sustain the operation, while predictive maintenance algorithms ensure 18-hour turnaround times for each jet. The base has become both launchpad and listening post. Its sensors mapping the electromagnetic signatures of Venezuela's radar and air defense networks, feeding real-time data to fusion centers at Langley, Virginia. This is stealth with intelligence. Surveillance by presence. The F-35B is more than a fighter jet. It is a flying intelligence node, a stealth platform, and a diplomatic signal, all at once. 15.6 tons of composite engineering, driven by a Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine capable of 41,000 pounds of thrust. A vertical lift fan allows it to hover, land on beaches, or launch from improvised runways. Its radar cross-section is smaller than a golf ball. Its sensors see everything within 300 miles and share that data instantly across the U.S. military network. With each sortie, the Vikings F-35s are mapping Venezuelan S-300 and Buck M3 systems, predicting their readiness and testing reaction times without ever crossing hostile airspace. The message is clear: readiness. Meanwhile, Maduro's military stages counter-exercises, Operation Escudo Bolivariano, simulating defense against an amphibious landing. Both sides posture, both claim restraint. But one miscalculated radar lock, one failed identification could ignite a confrontation neither side truly wants. Across Washington, analysts whisper comparisons. Venezuela is becoming the next Cuba. But this time, the conflict isn't ideological. It's criminal, economic, and strategic all at once. The U.S. isn't facing communism. It's facing a hybrid state. Part narco network, part authoritarian regime, part foreign proxy. And for now, 10 stealth jets on a Caribbean island stand between tension and escalation. Every night, F-35s lift off silently from Ceiba, disappearing into darkness. Their sensors scan the horizon, the sea lanes, the islands, the unknown. At 50,000 feet, they hover invisibly above the intersection of law, politics, and power. The Caribbean looks peaceful below, but the air above it hums with unseen danger. Because behind every calm wave lies a battlefield in waiting. For now, Operation Southern Vigil holds. But intelligence reports hint at new Russian cargo ships unloading at La Guaira. Unverified chatter mentions advanced radar systems, and something else, a long-range cruise missile battery, possibly operational within weeks. If true, the skies of the Caribbean could soon be contested again, not by traffickers, but by state powers. And in that contest, the F-35s in Puerto Rico may not just be the hunters. They could become the hunted. This is Warfare Report, where strategy meets the front line. If you want to understand the real stories shaping power and conflict, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay alert, because the next chapter in this standoff is already being written, and the first shot may echo from the Caribbean.